would stack pizza boxes like that. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainly Movies. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2002 sci-fi comedy sequel, Men in Black 2. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content like reviews, ranked lists, and trailer reactions. All of my reviews include a breakdown of the pros and cons, my rating, and some tailored film recommendations, so be sure to watch through to the end of this video for all of that extra content. Men in Black 2 stars Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, Lara Flynn Boyle, and Rosario Dawson, and was directed by Barry Sonnenfeld. 5 years after the events of the first Men in Black film, Agent J, played by Will Smith, must convince Tommy Lee Jones's Agent K to come out of retirement in order to save the Earth from a catastrophe 27 years in the making. The first Men in Black film was a satisfyingly self-contained story. Despite all the world building and character development, I would have been fine with just a single film. But that first movie left the door wide open for a sequel. Unfortunately, we never got that sequel. We got a sequel, but it certainly wasn't the one teased at the end of film number 1. Maybe it would have turned out exactly the same, but I'd like to think a story featuring Agent L could have brought a unique spin to the franchise. Instead, the end of the first film is essentially negated, and we ended up with this comparative disappointment of a sequel. I'm not a fan of this movie, but I've seen it far more times than I would have liked because it seems to always be on TV. As unenjoyable as these rewatches have been, at least I feel like I've given this movie plenty of chances. Every rewatch reveals a few minor positives, but also unveils even more negatives. Compared to the first movie, this sequel feels like a weak effort in almost every regard. The energy and fun that permeated the first film have been absolutely sucked out of this one. Nobody seems like they were having a good time making it, which makes it really easy to not have a good time watching it. Although I would have liked to see Agent L in the role, I can certainly understand why they wanted to bring Agent K back into play. The chemistry between Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones was one of the best parts of the first film. Unfortunately, I don't think the filmmakers quite understood that. It's like they thought that simply having both of them in the movie was the key to success, but it's the relationship and dynamic between them that made the first movie work so well. And that aspect of their relationship is missing for a good chunk of this movie due to the plot. Things kind of get flipped on their head, and it does open itself up to a slightly different angle of humor, which is admittedly funny at times, but it sort of loses the charm that it had in the original. It feels more like the Will Smith Show than a buddy cop partnership. Whereas the first Men in Black film has really held up over the years, this sequel hasn't. Of course, that implies it had to be up to begin with, which I don't think was ever the case. I like the attempts to provide a little bit of Kay's backstory, but as a whole, the plot of this movie is incredibly weak, especially when compared to the first. Most of the humor involving Jay is very reliant on the slapstick moments, and it just becomes very tedious. And I have no idea what happened to the special effects here. This movie came out 5 years later and had a budget that was $50 million more, yet it looks like crap compared to the first movie. Man, I wish we had gotten the sequel that was teased at the end of the first one. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. Pro number 1 is Agent K. We lose most of the humor that stemmed from his partnership with Jay, and Jay's over-the-top slapstick here, but Kay remains grounded. His dry, humorless personality works really well with the situation they put his character in. It results in quite a few funny moments, and his character arc is the highlight of the film. Pro number 2 is that the movie's short. That might sound like a backhanded compliment, and I guess it is. It's only 88 minutes long, so the movie does move along at a pretty brisk pace and doesn't overstay its welcome too badly. As far as the cons go, the most obvious issue is the quality of the special effects. I don't understand how they regressed so badly from the first movie, with a bigger budget here, but they're rough. Yes, it was only 2002, but they were way too confident with the quality of the CGI. The subway ride with Jeff, the little Charlie, and even the worm guys were all noticeably bad. Con number 2 is the tone. The first film was an energetic and extremely fun sci-fi comedy romp, but this movie barely has a trace of that. It's campy, not nearly as interesting, and the actors don't have the same chemistry or sense of fun that they had in the original. Nobody seems like they were having a good time, so why should we? I'm gonna give Men in Black 2 2 out of 5 paws. It's not a good movie. It's an incredibly disappointing follow up to the very fun first film, yet it still has its moments. They're few and far between, but they prevent this movie from ever being utter trash. I would be cautious of recommending Men in Black 2 to many people. If you like slapstick Will Smith, you might enjoy this one because he really hams it up. I'd say the only other people who should watch this are completionists, like myself, who like to watch all of the movies in a franchise. If you don't suffer from that affliction, you could watch and understand the third movie without subjecting yourself to this one. Really, the only important detail that comes out of this movie is that Kay's back. If you liked Men in Black 2, I would recommend Wild Wild West. There are no aliens, and it's a weird steampunk western, but it's got Will Smith, a lot of over-the-top characters, and special effects that are frequently on par with this movie. If Men in Black 2 is your introduction to the franchise, check out the other two films in the trilogy because they're both much better than this. Alright, a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, have you seen Men in Black 2? If so, what'd you think of it? And number 2, what do you think is the most disappointing sequel? Let's ignore direct-to-video releases and just focus on theatrically released sequels. Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below so we can get a discussion going. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insider information out of this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe while you're at it so you can see more videos like this. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.